Yo, welcome back to the channel, man. Kason is back. ATF Sports is back. Today we're getting into the free agency off season. I'm just gonna give out pretty much a recap of everything that's been going. I'm pretty sure it's been going on for about a week and a half now. So pretty much today we're just gonna give you a rundown, like what teams are doing good, what teams are doing bad, and what teams are like just doing nothing at all. But let's get into the video, man. Let's go. Subscribe and like too. Okay, so let's start off with the AFC East. Okay, we're gonna go down by divisions because I don't feel like, well, it's gonna be a speed run pretty much because all 32 teams, all these decisions. This video is like an hour, but let's start with the Buffalo Bills and the AFC East. Buffalo Bills. I like what they're doing so far, and just sorry. I had gum in my mouth. All right, but they have DJ Moore and Bradley Chubb. This is a pretty solid signing. Buffalo Bills, they get a valid receiver one other than Keon Coleman. Bradley Chubb to help out with the defense. They lost some. It seemed like they lost a defensive back. They lost a guard. They're having a pretty solid offseason so far. They're improving their defense and they're improving their offensive weapons. Go down to the Miami Dolphins. They are actually having a pretty good offseason as well. Malik Willis is a bit of a question mark. We do not know too much about Malik Willis and how he'll actually perform. He was a backup behind Jordan Love. He had some solid games, but we don't know too much. They got Joshua Uche and they got Jalen Tober. He was actually a solid receiver. I'm pretty sure he played for the Cowboys or Vikings. Fact check me later. We're going to keep going. They lost Jaden Waddle. They lost Tua. They lost Bradley Chubb, obviously, to the Bills. Jalen Waddle, I'm pretty sure is a Bronco. Fact check me later, but Tua is with the Falcons. And they got to deal with a lot of cap space right now. They have a lot of issues. They're going to keep going. New England Patriots, your runner-ups for Super Bowl champions. They signed Kevin Bernard, Romeo Doubs, and Dermont Jones, outside linebacker. The biggest one right here, I'm going to say Romeo Doubs because they lost Stephon Diggs in the offseason. They was looking for a bigger receiver this offseason, but they could not get that. They got Romeo Doubs, which is a pretty solid one. I would say Romeo Doubs was the receiver one for that team. But, hey, Kevin Bernard is a very solid safety pickup as well. They lost Stephon Diggs, Jalen Hawkins, and they haven't lost much, pretty much. So keep going down. New York Jets, they signed their old quarterback, Geno Smith. They get Minka Fitzpatrick and they get Demario Davis. Very questionable. I mean, Geno Smith is once again going to a team that is not functional right now. Their GM is not as good, obviously. Minka Fitzpatrick is a question mark. He's kind of old. And Demario Davis is like 35. He came from the Saints. They lose Jermaine Johnson. This is a pretty big loss. They lost that guard. I know about him, trust me. And Quincy Williams. They lost a lot of big pieces here. And Jets are a little bit confusing. We're gonna keep going though. Baltimore Ravens. You know, it's crazy. Baltimore, you know, they had Crosby. They had Max Crosby. They signed Max Crosby, then they backed out of the deal because it was a whole big issue. But they did that so they can get Trey Henderson. I honestly, that's a smart idea. I mean, you don't lose your 2 first-round picks and you sign Trey Henderson, probably to a cheaper deal as well. They get John Simpsons and they get Jalen Hawkins. That's adding to their defense and their offensive lineman. Lamar Jackson's probably gonna be a little bit safer this year, but Trey Henderson was definitely a good pickup. He had a whole bunch of issues down in Cincinnati, but let's keep it going. They lose Tyler Linderbaum, one of the best centers in the league. They lose Isaiah Likely. That was their tight end one, but I'm sure it'll be fine anyway. But he was a big piece of that offense. They lose Jermaine Jones. They're having a solid offseason, I would say. Let's keep it going. Cincinnati Bengals, you know, pretty much I don't even know how they can keep affording players after signing Jamar Chase, Higgins, and Joe Burrow to all these contracts. But they signed Boye Mafe, a very solid pickup, I would say. That's going to improve their defense. Brian Cook and Jonathan Allen. Honestly, this is honestly a great signing for the Cincinnati Bengals. I mean, they're improving their defense. They lose Trey Henderson, but I don't even think he was playing last season because of his contract issues. They lose Geno Stone. I think they'll be fine. I mean, he got bulldozed. I'm keep going, but and they lose the edge. And honestly, I would say, you know, you lose some defensive players. You add them back probably on cheaper deals. Jonathan Allen's still a dog, I would say, and Boye Mafe is definitely gonna bring some solids to that defense. Let's keep going. Cleveland Browns. They're definitely going protection. I mean, I would want protection as well for Shedeur Sanders. I don't know if this is going to be their QB1, but they didn't lose much. Not a big loss anyway. They lose Devin Bush. I mean, he was a piece of that defense, but they're signing offensive linemen. I definitely agree. They should definitely do that. Cincinnati, the Browns, solid offseason, I would say. Get that O-line fixed. Pittsburgh Steelers. I actually love what the Pittsburgh Steelers are doing. I mean, I love this. Michael Pittman Jr. has always been so underrated to me. I've been a big fan of Michael Pittman Jr. Jamel Dean, it came from Tampa Bay. Drake London gave him business, but we're going to keep going. But he's a very solid pickup. He was at that team CB1. And Rico Dow had a breakout season, even though towards the end, he got sat down for Chuba Hubbard. They wasn't willing to pay. But if Rico Dow can come back with that same energy as he did in the earlier weeks when he got that start, so Pittsburgh Steelers could be scary. You lose Kenneth Gainwell, easily replaced by Rico Dow. I mean, Kenneth Gainwell was nothing but a receiving back anyway. Calvin Austin, you lose a receiving threat in Isaac Salamo. I'm pretty sure you're not getting Aaron Rodgers back, so you lose him as well. Let's keep going. Houston Texans. What do you add to this amazing defense? I would definitely be working on O-line. That's what they did here with Braden Smith. David Montgomery, that was a very solid pickup as well. I don't know, I feel like he's along the same lines of a Nick Chubb caliber running back, but hey, we're going to see what happens. He's RB1 now, so I'm sure he'll turn up. And they got Reed Blankenship from the Eagles. That was a very solid pickup as well. Titus Howard, they lose Titus Howard as their O-lineman. I mean, honestly, that O-line was so bad last season. I really don't mind. They need more. They need to sign more offensive linemen, to be honest. But they're having a very solid offseason as well. Indianapolis Colts. I don't know if they re-signed Daniel Jones. You know, he asked for a crazy contract, but I know they gave Alec Pierce $100 million. I know he was like the most paid free agency receiver ever in NFL history for a guy that's they don't even have a quarterback situated right now. But they got some solid pickups. They're improving that D-line for sure. You see, obviously, with the signs with Arden Key and Kobe Wooden and Michael Clemens. They lose Michael Pittman Jr., obviously, we talked about earlier. They lose Zaire Franklin, and they lose Nick Cross. So they lose some pieces as well. But after you sign Alec Pierce to a 4-year, $100 million deal or something like that, he better step up and be the next Julio Jones. Let's keep it pushing. Jacksonville Jaguars, they ain't do too much so far. They did lose Travis Etienne, and they did lose Devin Lloyd. They signed Chris Rodriguez Jr. at running back. They're not doing much. It's one of them teams that really aren't doing too much, honestly. But you lose Travis Etienne. Honestly, I feel like that was like one of their best weapons. And they lose Devin Lloyd. Let's keep pushing. Tennessee Titans, John Franklin Myers. What's actually a very solid pickup, I would say. Wan'Dale Robinson. Honestly, I love that. I love that for Cam Ward. Cam Ward is going to have fun. And Alontae Taylor is one of the most physical cornerbacks in the NFL. Wan'Dale Robinson could definitely improve that defense as well. They lose Jarius Sneed, but he didn't do anything. He didn't do too much anyway. I feel like once a player gets that tight uniform, they become washed for some odd reason. But let's keep it pushing. Alontae Taylor, that's a great replacement. They lose a center, and they use Chig Okonkwo. I swear he's been on the Titans forever, but they're having a solid offseason, I would say. Alontae Taylor and Wan'Dale Robinson are some good pickups. Denver Broncos, they wasn't doing much before, but they signed Jalen Waddle. That was a big piece. I mean, honestly, it was questions. Cortland Sutton is a great receiver one. Honestly, he makes some plays, and they have a good receiving core, but Jalen Waddle just adds another piece. I don't see him too much as a receiver one, but I guarantee he'll pair well with Cortland Sutton. He's still young. I'm pretty sure he's like either 27 or 20 or 26, something on one of them lines. You lose John Franklin Myers, and you lose PJ Locke at safety. Not doing too much, but Jalen Waddle is a big pickup for Bo Nix. Hopefully Bo Nix gets healthy this season. Kansas City Chiefs. They get Kenneth Walker. You get the Super Bowl MVP. That means they're not going to go ahead in the draft and go get Love. You're not going to get Love at the draft because you just signed Kenneth Walker. That's going to bring some spark back into that offense for sure. We'll see what happens with Patrick Mahomes and coming back from that ACL injury. But Trent McDuffie, you lose Trent McDuffie, and you lose Leo Canal. I don't know if it's his name right, or Brian Cook. Y'all lost a lot of pieces. You lost a lot of pieces, Chiefs. Like I said in the previous video before, they're falling off a little bit. We're gonna see though for sure. I don't know how big of an addition you think Kenneth Walker is gonna be. Raiders, they improved that. I love what the Raiders are doing. Honestly, I think they're having one of the best offseasons so far. You signed Tyler Liberman, one of the best centers in the game. Nakobe Dean is going to break out for them. Nakobe Dean, people tend to forget, Nakobe Dean ran that offense at Georgia. And then you got Quay Walker, another Georgia Bulldog, that defense is going to improve. And I think Tyler Livium is definitely going to help with Fernando Mendoza when they do eventually draft him. You lose Geno Smith, we don't mind. You lose Dylan Parman, a starting guard, we don't mind. You lose the kicker, they don't mind. I'm pretty sure the kicker actually going to the Falcons actually. But I love what they're doing. That's an A. I feel like that's an A- definitely for the offseason. Los Angeles Chargers, we have you sign a running back, Keaton Mitchell. I'm pretty sure they already have a running back that had a very solid rookie season. Fact check me later. And then Tyler Bias at center. You lose a great outside linebacker, and you lose an offensive lineman. I'm pretty sure he was a starter. A solid offseason. I wouldn't say they're doing too much, honestly. Dallas Cowboys, you get Rashawn Gary, Jalen Thompson, and Kobe Durant. You're helping your defense out a lot there, for sure. You definitely need it, because after that season, last season, where they had that crazy duel with George Pickens and CeeDee Lamb, and that defense messed around a lot of 40 points a game. You lose Jalen Tolbert. That's okay, because you franchise tag George Pickens, and you lose that D tackle. Everything that'd be fine. It's actually a good offseason for them, because they're improving that defense for sure. Giants, you lose Wanda Robinson. Okay, cool, but you get Isaiah Likely. That could be an issue. I ain't gonna lie. Okay, so obviously they get the Ravens head coach. I think the Ravens head coach specifically asked for Isaiah Likely just so he can fit into that offense. So now, if the Giants can go ahead and get, what's his name? All right, Malik Neighbors. If y'all can go ahead and get Malik Neighbors healthy, man, this could be a very dangerous offense, especially with Jackson Dart and Cam Scottaboo. Very fun team to watch. Let's see what John Harbaugh can do with that. Philadelphia Eagles, you get Rick Woolen. Honestly, I'm so upset the Falcons did not go snag. They got a 6'4" cornerback, and he's very physical, very good, very great piece. I ain't gonna lie, I'm impressed. But they lose that safety, Blankenship, but they lose Jalen Phillips to Kobe Dean and Reed Blankenship. I literally just said it. Jalen Phillips, I'm pretty sure is going to the Panthers. The Kobe Dean Raiders and Reed Blankenship, I'm pretty sure Texans. They lost a lot of good defense pieces. The Eagles are falling off a little bit, but their team is always so talented. We're going to see how that goes, and Rick Rulin is definitely going to improve that defense for sure. Let's keep it pushing. Watch the Commanders. I'm a little scared for this team. You signed two great defensive presence with Odafe Owe and Leo Canal. You get the Titans tight end. I don't know how much they're going to help, but Dan Quinn does love to use his tight ends for sure. You lose Chris Rodriguez Jr. He was a good running back for y'all last season. I'm pretty sure he has some explosive plays throughout the season. Jacob Martin and Noah. I'll just pass on saying the last name. You improve your defensive line a lot here, but this is a little confusing just because Jay Daniels is unhealthy. I knew that was going to be an issue just because of how much he ran, but hopefully he gets healthy, and this team could be solid with a way better defense than they had last season. Chicago Bears, after a great season with Ben Johnson as their first-time head coach, making it all the way to the divisional round, and sadly losing to the Rams. They pick up Kobe Bryant, very solid safety. Devin Bush from the Browns, that's a great piece. And Garrett Bradbury. These are great signings for the Chicago Bears team. It's only getting better. But you do lose DJ Moore, but it's okay because they wasn't using him that much anyway. I think Luther Burden is going to be definitely a way bigger pickup. I'm pretty sure Drew Dalman retired. I don't know. I think I heard about that somewhere. Kevin Bernard, you do lose a great safety. You lose some pieces for sure, but I think y'all be fine for sure. Let's keep it pushing. Detroit Lions, you definitely lose David Montgomery. That means Jahmyr Gibbs. Go ahead, pick him up for the #1 pick for your fantasy leagues coming up next season. But you do get Isaiah Pacheco, pretty much that same caliber running back, just a little less explosive for sure. He runs crazy. I don't want to talk about it. They signed Teddy Bridgewater. I don't know why it's such a big signing, but I guess. But Cade Mays, and yeah, I mean they're having a solid offseason, I would say. I mean, but you do lose David Montgomery. That running back duo was definitely one of the top running back duos in the league. You lose Alex Alonso. That is a big loss for that defense. He was the heart of that defense for sure. Every time I look left, he's making a play. And then Khalif Raymond at receiver. He was definitely a solid receiver 3, receiver 4, one of them types, but we'll keep it pushing. They're having an okay offseason. They lost some pieces. Green Bay Packers. Boy, if y'all, this is the year. I'm telling you. Something big is going to happen if they don't win this year or make it past the divisional round. But you did get Javon Hargrave. He's a great defensive tackle. We know how that is. Benjamin St. Justin, he gets a lot of hate, but I don't think he's that bad. And Sky Moore was very explosive. He was a very explosive kick returner for sure. You lose Romeo Dobbs. You lose Quay Walker and you lose Malik Willis, that backup quarterback. He played phenomenal, but he was eventually going to get paid eventually. Romeo Doubs was pretty much their receiver one, and Quay Walker was a great force from that defense. I lost him to the Raiders, I'm pretty sure. Javon Hargrave is going to be a very that's a great pickup for them for sure, and Sky Moore can be a pretty good piece for a smart head coach that's just gonna make it past the divisional round and not go 9-8, 9-8-1. But let's keep it going. Minnesota Vikings. If I'm not mistaken, Kyler Murray is quarterback one. If I'm not mistaken, I wanted Kyler Murray for the Falcons to be honest. I honestly think that he's a solid quarterback for sure. But Kyler Murray, I want him as a Falcon, but we'll keep pushing. You lose Jonathan Allen, Javon Hargrave. Oh my gosh, you lost a lot of D tackle presence. Goodness gracious. Jalen Naylor was definitely JJ McCarthy's number one receiver. Every time I look left, he was throwing it to Jalen Naylor, but instead of Justin Jefferson. But Kyler Murray and Justin Jefferson, could that be something? We're gonna find out. Keep going. Atlanta Falcons. We signed Tua, turn the ball over, but it's okay. I mean, they're not putting all our other additions on here. We had Alameda Zacchaeus, we got Jahan Dotson, we got some pieces for sure, and we just picked up that edge. Picture right there. Let's keep it pushing, but we do lose Darnell Mooney. He ain't do nothing for us in last season. Tyler Algier, B. John Robinson's him. I'm sorry, I love Tyler, but to death. But I'm a little upset about losing Caden Ellis, and we lost some more pieces as well. But we'll keep it pushing. I'm just really upset about Caden Ellis because I'm pretty sure he gave it back to the Saints. Carolina Panthers. People would say they're having the best offseason so far with Jalen Phillips and Devin Lloyd. Devin Lloyd, I agree, but they overpaid the crap out of Jalen Phillips for sure. They paid him like $100 million, a 4-year contract, a $72 million, something like that. It was crazy. Don't get me wrong, he wasn't bad. He's definitely gonna bring some. After losing Brian Burns, he's definitely gonna bring some presence to them. But I think Devin Lloyd was definitely the biggest. You lose Cade Mays and Yash. You lost some old linemen. They're having a pretty solid offseason. I gotta give them that. They're coming up. This could be a big year for them next season. I just be honest. New Orleans Saints. You get Travis Etienne. You get Caden Ellis. They're having a very solid off. Demario Davis is no longer a Saint. Alontae Taylor's gone as well. And Cameron Jordan, did he retire? I don't know. Where did freaking Cameron Jordan leave? We'll keep pushing. But Travis Etienne, that's a very solid pickup. And Caden Ellis is going to be the heart of that defense. And he's going to replace Demario Davis so fast. You're going to see next season. He's very underrated. Tampa Bay, Kenneth Gainwell. You get the receiver running back from the Pittsburgh Steelers. You pick up an edge and you pick up Alex Alonso. That was a very big pickup. That was a great pickup for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I got to give props where props is due. But you lose Mike Evans. Mike Evans is no longer a Tampa Bay Buccaneer. That is crazy. I never would have expected that. I think go to the 49ers. But you lose Rashad White. But it was Bucky Irving season anyway. And Jamal Dean. Jamal Dean was okay. But Kenneth Gainwell is a good receiving running back, but I honestly would say that best signing here is Alex Alonso. He was a heart and soul of that Detroit Lions defense for sure. Arizona Cardinals, you do lose Kyler Murray, but I think he was already ready for that departure anyway. You get Kendrick Bourne. He was super solid for the Patriots last season. Patriots. I keep thinking, I think they signed him back, Kendrick Bourne. I'm pretty sure he played for them before, or maybe I'm tripping, but he had a good season last year for the Patriots. He did Gardner Minshew, a secondary quarterback. You're probably going to see him play next season when one of their quarterbacks go down, and they pick up an old lineman to improve that. They lose Jalen Thompson, starting safety, but the biggest loss here, they're not showing it, was Kyler Murray. But I think we was already ready for that departure anyway. Los Angeles Rams, they are having a great. I love the Trent McDuffie pickup. I love that. They're going to improve. That just improved their defense so much. He's going to be able to line up against some receiver ones and shut them down. Jalen Watson is also just improving the secondary. That is going to be a very big pickup for them. Honestly, they didn't lose too much. You lose Tutu Atwell. I mean, we've been seeing him for the Rams for a good little minute. And they lose a right tackle. Let's keep going. That's actually, I think they're having one of the best off seasons so far. San Fran, you get Drake Greenlaw back into the San Fran. You get Mike Evans. You get they're having a pretty. I ain't gonna lie. Drake Greenlaw's gonna fit perfectly right back into that system, back with Fred Warner and Mike Evans. Mike Evans is gonna be Mike Evans at times. I'm sure he won't have another 1,000-yard season, but Mike Evans is definitely a presence for sure. That rhyme. Bryce Huff. You lose Bryce Huff, you lose Jordan Elliott, and you lose Sky Moore. Sky Moore was that explosive piece for y'all. You lose him. I think it's easily replaceable. Bryce Huff, maybe not so much, But Jordan Elliott, you lose him as well. Honestly, I give this a B plus offseason for sure. Keep it going, keep going. Your Super Bowl champions, Seattle Seahawks. You lose Kenneth Walker. I don't understand why they didn't sign him back, especially after that great season. I wouldn't even say great season, but that great postseason that he had. He was really trying to get signed at the freaking pep rally. But you lose Kobe Bryant, you lose Rick Willen, you lose a lot of pieces. You lose a lot. Seattle loses a lot of pieces in this offseason, this free agency. I mean, you get Emmanuel Wilson. These signings right here aren't too big, to be honest. But you lose Kobe Bryant, and you do lose Rick Willen, and you lose Kenneth Walker. I don't see them making it too far next season, especially after losing them. But that is the end. We have reacted to all these teams, man. Let's go ahead and get to the ending. Yo, that's the end of the video, man. Thank you guys for tuning in, man. I think it's about a 21 minute video, man. But so what can you say? It's the whole free agency in this week and a half, and a lot of moves are still going to happen. There's a whole bunch of free agencies that haven't been signed. But I appreciate you guys for tuning in, man. Hey, I love my supporters, man. I appreciate y'all guys. I promise you, when I get big, man, I'm going to appreciate you guys the most for sure, man. But hey, y'all boys, subscribe and like. Ignore my hair. I have an afro right now, and I kind of trying to hold it back so I can do this video. But I appreciate you guys for tuning in, man. Hey, subscribe, like, man, comment, and I'm gonna post out, guys. You know how I do. I love y'all guys, man. Stay blessed up. Have a blessed day, man, and deuces.